Well, after 5 days, I just had my first bite of food, which was pretty cool. It was a very neat experience, which I'll get to that in a second. I want to talk a little bit more about today, just some immediate thoughts and kind of just the process I just went through, which was very interesting. So today I woke up and when I first started this thing, I think I mentioned that there are some people that talk about having some really high mental clarity and high energy on the final day and have this feeling where they could, go without food for quite a while, and then it's not that big of a deal. And I definitely felt that today. So that was interesting. I woke up with a bunch of energy, in a great mood. Went to work, had a bunch of energy. And worked through the day, no problems. Didn't really even have to drink too much of the syrup drink, and was had full blown energy all day. And maybe it was because the sun was shining and it hasn't for a long time, but I think it had mostly to do with this whole process. So that was definitely interesting. One of the feelings that I'm interested it's interesting to be left with as I finish this is, I think, like, there's almost a letdown when you're done, and it's a compounding with a couple of things that I think. So there's a feeling that you cross the finish line and that you're done, but because of the fact that the final day was definitely the easiest and it kind of just cruised past and everything was easy, there's a feeling of like that it should have been harder. And somebody was asking me this morning about the process, and how they're asking me about whether or not I'll do it again, which I'll get to in a bit. But they were talking about how there's that the immediate response of where you feel like, or looking back on things, they don't seem as hard as they were. So at that point, that's where I am. Where if somebody were to say, hey, you should, you have to do this for 3 more days, I'd probably say, okay, that's fine. That's not that big of a deal. 3 more days at this point isn't wouldn't be crazy. I don't want to do that. I definitely am looking forward to going back to solid foods and eating on a normal schedule. But as far as like energy and productivity and how things were going, that's not an issue anymore. So that letdown feeling, like I said, I think there's like this desire that you want to barely cross the finish line, and that you just eat, you kind of you give it your all is a common saying for challenges and things that we attempt. And at this point, today wasn't that hard, so it was a weird, like, kind of almost I think the word I'm looking for is, it was anticlimactic. So with that being said, though, the feeling so I just had a banana for my first meal, as it were, and unwrapping that banana and smelling that banana and chewing that banana and tasting that banana, and just kind of experiencing the whole, you can almost feel the whole digestive process going on. That was really neat, and that was something that I set out to explore when I was first interested in doing this. Like I mentioned, that first videos, I don't know that I've definitely never intentionally gone a full day without eating. I've probably done that just when I'm sick, and I've never gone hungry. I've never gone, well, not for more than a couple hours. I've never had to deal with that, and so I wanted to see what that was like and kind of develop into more of an appreciation for food. And I think that has been achieved. And some other thing, I wanted to experience what it was like to restrict myself from certain things, and obviously I restricted myself from a lot, and that was a big challenge that I feel like I gathered a lot from, that I can take forward moving forward, as far as like social events and having to convey what new things are, or what having to convey what the different thing that I'm doing to people who may or may not get it. That was a little interesting to have to do. Um, I'm glad that I did it in the way that, looking back, as the challenge, just to kind of, it was more of a mental challenge. That drink, the syrup drink, lemonade, whatever you want to call it, was definitely an assist where it wasn't like I was like suffering through brutal hunger pangs for the last 5 days. It was so it was more of a mental, like trying to get out of habits and trying to like get around the certain behaviors that I'm used to. So in those ways, I'm really glad that I did it. As far as how this is useful or will I do it again, I think that that's a hard question to answer because I think that it just is going to depend on the circumstance, and I think this is be really beneficial and really useful for somebody who needs a reset. So in other words, somebody who wants to start with a kind of a fresh clean slate where they want to kind of erase some of their behaviors and they want to erase some of their habits. This would be a good way to do that. And I don't want to go on record and saying like advocating this for anybody in particular. I think there's intricate cases and every individual is going to be different on this. So if you're watching this and you think I need a clean slate, maybe come talk to me first and let's figure out whether or not this is a good idea. But I think that it would be for certain people, this would be a good way to start. In other words, if you were just eating crap, if you're eating whatever cereal for every meal, and you wanted to start over and just get rid of those behaviors and start fresh, this would be a good way to do that. And so, as far as me moving forward, will I do it again? I don't know. If I feel like I'm in a place that this would be beneficial, now I have another tool in my belt to utilize for that. So I think it is a useful tool. As far as some of the other stuff, I wish I had some more hard data as far as what actually went on and what the before and afters were. Other than I don't think I even said this. I weighed in a second ago at 186, so that's 13. I think it's about the same as yesterday. I can't remember. About the same as yesterday. So 13, 14 pounds. I think I might be even up from yesterday. Which just depends. I'm sure that depends a little bit on when I drank some of that stuff and when I didn't. So total of 13 or 14 pounds. I'll do calipers, I'll report caliper measurements in another thing and do before and after picture, or not before, well, before and afters, but daily pictures in each or in the upcoming blog post, and maybe another video depending on what the next couple of days hold. Because that weight will come back on pretty quick, I bet. And so as far as like, looking at this, I think, as I mentioned in a couple of videos before, is looking at this as a weight loss solution is not a good idea. Maybe a behavioral solution, possibly, but as far as weight loss, if you look at, the amount of people whose eyes went wide and said, "Oh, you lost 14 pounds in 5 days," was something that is a little, not concerning, but I want to just make sure that it's not seen as a solution in that way. So, like I said, that stuff will come back. I feel emaciated. I feel skinny. I feel kind of weak, but it's not like I'm shredded, like I lost a ton of fat or anything. So even in that way, it's not that it was like a short-term solution for fat loss. So that stuff should be pretty telling in the upcoming posts and follow-up videos and things like that. But I'm glad to be done. I'm looking forward to resuming more of a normal eating schedule with maybe some new appreciation for certain things and new appreciation for behaviors and a new appreciation for food. So thanks for watching and thanks for the support through these 5 days. And yeah, appreciate it.